Here are some quick tips on how to use that assistive touch control that makes for this virtual home button available on your screen. So the most obvious teacher-friendly way to do this is while you are showing your screen to students. When you screen mirror, you want students to be able to see certain parts of the screen. And so you can just simply drag around this assistive touch button to point to students where they're looking on the screen. It's a great use when you don't have a mouse available. But I have customized the menu inside of my iPad virtual home button to use some other great quick teacher tools. Sometimes I'll be teaching and I have to suddenly get to my camera. So in this case, if I want to get to my camera quickly, I tap my virtual home button, my camera icon, and I can take pictures. Now the next way I choose to use it is the app switcher. Well, I can obviously switch my apps by using a custom gesture moving from the bottom. Sometimes it's not the most efficient, or I forget what that gesture looks like. So I'm going to use the virtual home button, go to the app switcher, switch apps, and do the same to jump back and forth. This is just a far more efficient way of moving around on my iPad. The third icon is the screenshot icon. Now a screenshot is typically done by holding the home button and the power button at the same point, but depending on the case you have, or just being more efficient in general, I can simply click screenshot and I have a screenshot. That screenshot I can then use to go right into markup mode and model things for my students right away in class. The next way that I'm going to use my home button is speak screen. Now this is something that might be useful for you as a teacher, but it's going to be especially useful for some of your students. The speak screen icon allows you to select specific context on the iPad and have it read back to you. Imagine a student who might be struggling with something, reading content for the first time, an English language learner, whose value might be just to hear the words as they read them. We're going to tap speak screen, and you can see this little icon appears.
Lifestyle.
Now I'm going to use the toucher to point to specific content I want it to read.
An Apple Watch is great for many things. Tracking exercise, calling.
I can pause it, speed it up, listen again. Lots of great ways to use the speak screen feature, and lots of students would benefit from this. That launcher just brings that little speak screen arrow available for me. All right, the next one's lock rotation. If you mirror your screen a lot and are walking around in the classroom, one of the things you might notice is that it rotates from you like this regularly. Some of your students might really get distracted by this. So a simple thing that we can do is just use the lock rotation mode. Now, while I'm walking around the classroom, even if I just slightly turn my iPad, my students won't get seasick from my constantly rotating screen. And then when I'm ready to rotate again, I tap it again, and it goes away. Finally, the control center. Now we can get to the control center just with a simple slide gesture on the upper right, and maybe that'll work better for you. But one of the things that I like to do is just to use this to get into the control center quickly to stop screen mirroring. My control center is especially valuable though because I have it set up to do some other things for me. I have my control center set to have a timer, to take voice memos, to do screen recordings, to change the size of my text on screen. So there's a lot that we can put inside of our control center, and our virtual home button just makes it easier to get to that control center. And so there are 6 quick ways that you can use the virtual assist touch button to make teaching and learning even more efficient in your classroom.